Hello, and welcome to episode 22. We were playing with something that was supposed to be like a higher tension track, and it's coming out as more like suspenseful than it is like high tension. But we're gonna roll with it. We're still gonna try to bring in some elements that speed it up a little bit. Let's go ahead and jump into the project. And thank you if you've seen the other videos. If it's your first time, also welcome. We just kind of are writing from the hip here. Let's see here. So let's go ahead and bring it from the start. Let's make sure everything's working. I moved the microphone, so key clicks should be a little easier on the ear. That is better than what it was. Alright, looks like it's running smooth. And that is where we're at. We just have ambient layers running over the top. So some things coming back to it off the cusp. First off, I think this is just a little silly. We need a better sample if we're going to do that. So here's my mentality with that one is I want something that's going to really give like a powerful like, oof, we're in. But I don't want it to linger so long that you can't cut it out and just use the natural like fade in like part build. The other thing is this. I wish that was a little bit more going on. We do have these 16th drums coming in, but it's not enough. I feel like this is a cool strike, but it also gives it a slower feeling. The pulse is bringing the pulse of that brings the whole thing down, I guess is what I'm trying to say. We do want to do some maybe some horns today. I've been thinking hard about trombones and cello. Those are really the ones that are sticking out in my head. I'm imagining like a short bowed like bum 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 bum, you know, super simple. I was even thinking of like the having the seven, so it's like bum 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 bum, just to give it a little bit more of something. The other thing I was considering too is after this, stepping up the whole track a certain level and maybe doing like triple it 1 2 triple it 1 2 and doing something where it's a little bit more, just a little bit more notes per square inch of screen or whatever you want to say, a little more dense. And that would also just try to pick up the pace a little bit on it. I'm not sure exactly how I want to start it. I think, I don't know, maybe even just getting axing that. Let's just do it. We're just going to rip the Band-Aid off. Oh, also, we were considering bringing this to a template or taking the template to this. And I was kind of leaning towards taking this off the bat, and then more recently, I was thinking taking it to this. My question is, I don't really have any parameters here. There's no real rules. If someone wants to comment a suggested, rule, or just like, hey, what if you did something like this, and then maybe we would play a little more into it. But we're kind of playing tennis without the net here. So I think for now we're gonna keep bringing stuff in because I had kind of like for like that cello part, I kind of had it like stereoed cellos in my head, and maybe even like two of them running. So let's just try to add that in and just see what comes of it here. So we'll go cello left, create a new track, cello right, and then create 2 new tracks. Then we go, is it baritone trombone and tenor? I think is the other one. All right. So I'm thinking these 4 parts is really what we're going to focus on. Cello is going to be about getting the right like staccato note. And I was thinking I love the BBC orchestra template. There's a great YouTuber. Let me even look him up as we do this, because I want to give him credit. Let's see here. Go BBC orchestra. See if I can find him real quick as we do this. And of course, I'm just looking at composer BBC. Of course. Pause. Go like tutorial. This guy basically was like, hey, this is how to set up a solid template. Guy Michael Moore. I will link him, but he had a template that he set up. I set up the same thing, started playing with it, and loved it. And I like, instead of using, like, I would do a lot of plugins that have, like, you do like the C0 and that's your regular, and then you go C1 and that's like a muted. It's like what kind of how you do like a lot of guitar stuff. And this setup was more of, you have like your long notes, your short notes, your palm mutes, and they're all different channels. And maybe that's like standard, but that was my entrance into it. So I was really like basing that template off of just pretty much by the book of what he described. Spiccato. It's called staccato because I'm a filthy American. I can't pronounce other languages. Well, you know what? I actually set it on the impact right there. Didn't mean to do that. Matter of fact, let's even name this sound effects just so we don't touch it again. So let's check out this cello. I was imagining something a little lower than that. Let's hop on the other cello. Let's go to contact. See what we find just by grabbing some of the other cellos I have around. Go both strings. Let's try this one. But this isn't our only one. Okay. Do we want to add an EQ? Do we want to add this? I'm going to say let's just keep it easy. Let's see if this works. First off, the range is better. I am going to switch it in. Maybe there's something I'm missing. All right, so that's kind of the vibe I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe something on the. See, and I'm imagining flat second, just metal. If you can make that fit, I mean, there is very little like harmonic going hard. Like there's that drone, but that's kind of in my mind. I'm like I would rather use that. That's your choices there. So. Let's give it a shot. Let's go ahead and set this to record. Maybe we'll add on the lower notes. Maybe we won't. We'll see. Damn near the whole. I don't mean to curse. Almost the whole thing is gonna be fine without it. Those notes especially are gonna need some love. And let's kill the human element. Let's just eliminate that completely. It's for a good cause. I see this as something that could just be on the bass, which makes me a little sad because maybe I could have done this on the orchestra. I would love to know if there's a bend feature, because if I could bend that, that would make me happy. Interesting. I'm using that is very tricky to program, and it's not quite what we're looking for. We were hoping for a bend as we go, like it would bend the note just a little bit. But I suppose to sample that would take 1 million years, and AI, quantum computing. We'll give it another 24 months. But alas, this is not the only one. We wish another. Not there. Alright, there we go. And we're doing hard left, hard right. You might need to pull out the guitar for this one. I cannot wait to go back in this video and find out that the range of a violin is what made me jump off the cello of this. And let me guess. Let me just try this out. I go to cello. Alright, I was going to say if it has the bend function, I might just do it. But I'm pretty happy with the one I used. Let's go ahead and take this back to brass, tenor trombones. So, what we're looking for is some runs that we can do. So we know it's on C. So let's ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, da-dum, dum, da-dum, dum, 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 da-da-dum, da-dum, dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-dum, da-dum, dum, ba-da-dum, so ba-da-dum, da-da-dum, 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 da-dum, ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, ba-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, let's see if I can do something along those lines. Hmm. Well, let's put it on the computer here and let's see what it feels like. So we're doing, which would be. That's incorrect, my friend. Let's go. Why does that have to hit so hard? Oof. Alright, something along those lines. I don't even know if I want to play it in time. That sounds difficult. But we can just drop. The heck was that? But we can just drop in a MIDI item. It's like, what did he want? So, put it on. Put it in. Ah. Da-da-dun, da-da-dun, da-dun, da-da-dun. Hmm. Hmm. What's up, baby? Give me 1 sec. Got a lovely snack from Bay. All right, let's see. So I don't think this is going to be the right instrument to do this. I think I'm going to have to go into a trumpet. Let's see. Fair enough. I want to do something else with that. It's interesting, but it's not quite what I was looking for. This one's going to take a little more thinking. Well, let's see what we are on time here. We're about at 30 minutes. This will be a short one today. I'm thinking this line is developing. We're getting something, but it's not hitting the way I want. But I do think that's giving a little bit more energy, and it's giving a little bit more like of a faster paced idea. I do think we need to layer some more percussion, especially on the offbeats, like that on that part. And I'm just thinking like stick clicks. I'm thinking stuff like that. I'm even thinking going into the existing sound and kind of adjusting what that sample is that's playing and kind of cutting a little bit of the end off. So it's a little bit more attacky, or I mean, that wouldn't even be a little bit. It would be pretty much a decent more attack and a lot less of like the ring out. So these are all just different things that we could do to kind of adjust it. But man, that is quite the part. I was not expecting it to be that zany. And let me actually bring this in here, and we'll put this as the tenor trombone. figures that would be just out of reach. So we'll go throw the et on there just to avoid the YouTube censors. I don't know, I'm just teasing. And we have the tenor trombone. And just for the money shot, let's just see what happens. I think that gives a little better energy to it. I think that gives a little more fullness. Because now we have something that's really keeping the pace, and so the background can be a little bit more of like that halftime, like slow groove feel. So we can have like and the background pulse is doing the slow thing while the thing in front is really taking the lead. We'll have to play with it more. I think even some more strings on there wouldn't sound bad. I also was considering taking that string drone and having that change more throughout the song, and having that kind of breakdown, and having that drone stop and do something more syncopated would also just be a ton of energy added. So I think we've gotten a decent little bit of progress. It was kind of interesting coming back to this one just because I was so shocked at how different the vibe was from what I was imagining. It felt more like sneaky, like you're like sneaking through a crowd rather than like a car chase. So we'll have to just play with it. I don't even mind that vibe as long as it's good, as long as the music sounds fun. But yeah, I think we're gonna cut it there, and I'll catch you guys on the next one, which would be tomorrow. And I appreciate you watching. Feel free to throw a like down there if you enjoyed it. Give me a comment if you have anything you want to let me know. Like I said, we're kind of going without any rules on this one, so if you got a suggestion or anything, I'm happy to hear it. So, yeah, see you tomorrow. Hello, I am back. Same day, same session, give or take an hour. So we're just gonna jump right back into it. I'm not done. I didn't hear no bell. All right, here we go. So the thing that we left off was this. We're not in love with those leads. Those leads, they're not done yet. They could use some love. But instead of continuing to work on those, I'm actually going to take this off. We'll leave the cello. I think what we're going to do is we're going to get into some of the sampling. And since we're starting to get to this direction here, I'm feeling like we should go ahead and get some track colors. Oh. Gosh. I love Reaper. I've used Reaper for 200 years. And there are so many features to it, you'll never find them all. But what I gotta say is I cannot believe how poor the random color thing seems to be. It did pretty well considering I just was complaining about it. So boom. Let's actually go into battery 4. go into another sample. Let's do small metal. We're getting out of this, and we're gonna go into. I want like a stick click kind of sound. That's not quite it. I feel like I'm going crazy listening to this. I remember I put a stick click in here. These are my personal favorites, by the way. Where could it be? I know it's in here. That's the hard part. There's no reason for me to hit the air horn a third time. Let's see here. Not sure what it could possibly be under. I remember this. I hit it again. All right. It is time for us to leave this behind. I'm trying to think of what it could possibly be under. Is it a sound effect? Is that where I got it from? These aren't really doing it for me. Keep in mind there is this going on behind it, so maybe that's causing some of the what the WTF, you know, like what is going on here? Almost sounds like a hi-hat to me. This sounds the most real, like an actual rim. You know, makes a terrible drum effect, but that would be a great like menu screen selector. But that, yeah. Yeah, you've got to go. I'm sorry. Delete the cell. Let's see. I just loaded something I didn't mean to. Somewhere. is some sound effect hiding? There it is, right there. I'm liking that one a lot. Huh. I don't know how I want to present this yet. I don't know if that's like a 5 pattern and it goes around every other time. Let's just give it a shot. Oh no, it moves much slower than that, it looks like. So I'm just doing that. First one it skips, then it lands. So it takes 3 to get around. No, I'm not loving it. I'm out. Goodbye. I'm trying to figure out what would be the appropriate move next. I think I'm searching the right spot. I'm just not pulling out the right sound. No. Not gonna do it. Doesn't sound good. We just keep trying and it's not working. There has to be a better way. There has to be something I can add on with this. Let's see. Let's pull out another one. If I copy paste, remove this, then on the new channel we remove this. All right, I'm coming up with something there. Get it out of here. Silly click. Alright. I don't know how this can. It might be way over the top. It might need to be deleted. I feel like there's something there. It's just not coming through. I'm looking for a plugin to make it better, but that's never the right answer. Interesting. Oh boy, this might not even be worth it. That's the hardest part. I don't know if you guys are hearing it, but I'm hearing a snare pattern. Oh boy. I think we're barking up the wrong tree. Battery really doesn't specialize in this kind of stuff, but we have absolutely powerhouse drum sets that will. So let's just go. I almost wonder if I could just search snare and see if there's any kind of marching snare I might have. Of course. Shocked this is the only thing making a sound on this. That seems... I see now. Let's back it up. My bad. We want to replace this one. Let's try the same, like marching snares. Something's got to be done. The velocity is a little out of whack. Reason being are these. This doesn't give me a high-speed chase vibes though. This is still tension. is something useful. I'm wishy-washy on that one. I don't feel like it's quite giving us the power that we want. See what that sounds like on the other channel. I think one thing off the bat is take it from the top. Also, where are we at here? Yeah, another 35 minutes. Fair enough. Certain power loss with the action strikes. Interesting. Not totally in love with the snare pattern, but we could really get into the nitty gritty on that. Again, I'm feeling like this is going to be a suspension track. I feel like the more that we push, the closer it gets to something in that realm. So I'm not going to try to fight it too hard. And I do think it's about time to start adding more traditional instruments. And I'm thinking about merging in more from the symphony orchestra, and then maybe switching out as necessary, because I'm really happy with those cellos. I'm happier than I was with the BBC symphony orchestra, so I think that's going to be very telling. Sometimes it's just like even with like the trumpet and trombone, like this is completely dry reverb, and so those come naturally pretty wet with reverb, and there's just nothing I can do to get rid of that, which is okay if you're doing like a big thing. But since I kind of want more of a dry sound from this, like very in the front, that's going to be a little bit of a harder thing to work with. So it's just something to keep in mind. But yeah, I just wanted to hop back on and do a little bit more. I feel like we got a little bit done. We got a lot of nothing done, really. We had a couple of bad ideas that we kind of played with, and a little bit came with some of it. But I think on the next one, we will focus more. I don't know. I was imagining those clicks would fit so well, but it really did not. It did not land the way I was expecting it to. Maybe we'll introduce some synth elements, and that will bring us into the next section. Is some bigger synth stuff, or the next session could be also dedicated to bringing in more orchestral elements and building a little bit of what could happen. We don't have any woodwinds or anything like that, and I think that would be a good addition, just kind of like the main melody. So we'll have to look at both of those options, but I won't do a lengthy outro again. Or maybe I will. Maybe I'll cut the first one. Let's do a lengthy outro here. Thanks for watching. I appreciate people tuning in to see what's going on. If you want to throw a like down there, just let me know that you liked what I'm doing. Love to see it. If you have any comments for me, please leave a comment. It's just, it could be a recommendation. It could be just something random. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just looking for what's going on. So I appreciate you tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one, which will be tomorrow. So thanks. Peace.